are forgetting or giving away the Holocaust or becoming used to it or getting hartos, sick of Holocaust, hearing about Holocaust when they have other problems. Maybe in Israel they say, again Holocaust, again this problem. We already, that's past. We have to live in the future, in now and in the future, and what is happening with Israel.
I think that many young people feel that they can't shape the future through the Holocaust. I mean, think about Prime Minister Netanyahu. He tries to convince the Jews in Israel that we are just one step away of Auschwitz and the Holocaust can happen again any other time. But Israel is a very strong country, strong economy, strong army, with a lot of achievements. And young people, I think, they don't want to look at the future through the glasses of the Holocaust. They just don't want to think about fear and the end of the Jewish people. They want to think about open, democratic, free society and about the possibilities of the future. And this is, I think, a major difference between my generation and, for example, Prime Minister Netanyahu generation. We are not willing to enslave our future to the horror of the Holocaust because we want to build a better future.
You talk about Israel, about the future, and you talk a little bit in your books and in your comments about Holocaust, Palestinians, and Russia. What it has something to do, Palestinian, Israel, Arab countries, it has something to do all around.
You didn't understand the question.
When you speak about Holocaust, many people say that Palestinians live like Jews lived during the Holocaust, in concentration camps, and you have something different in one of your interviews. You said that you don't want your kids to live in a new ghetto, surrounded by borders, but it's talking about Israel again, surrounded by borders or by walls against all the enemies.
Anyway, there is a problem that Israel created right now, a very large Jewish ghetto, surrounded by walls. I mean, think about your life in Mexico as a Jew. I don't think that you feel that you can't mix up with other ethnic groups or you cannot go there. No, I've been in Ramallah two weeks ago. It's really difficult to go to Ramallah, which is very close to Jerusalem, right? So I think that the future of two states surrounded by walls without any connection, that Jews live in a Jewish ghetto, it's not the future that I want. I'm as a son of a politician, I'm not very naive, but I think that the Israeli society...
Everybody's politician.
Yeah. No, my father was really a politician.
I know, and your grandfather also.
Yeah. So, I think...
I'm from the...
Labour Party.
Yeah, from the small part.
Yeah. Labour.
No,
Liberal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that my future of Israel is an open Israeli society. When I say Israel, I mean Palestinian Israelis, Jews Israelis, Colombian Israelis, Christian Israelis. Everyone who wants to be Israeli, wants to live in Israel, wants to serve Israel, wants to pay taxes in Israel. I mean, a republic. And this is the main difference between...
Jews are not Jews exactly the same, because Israel, now it's a Jewish country, let's say.
Yeah. Totally the same. I mean, totally equal, equality between all the Israelis. And I don't think that anyone that lives outside of Israel, Jews or non-Jews, can lecture Jews that they should create a state where the Jews are always above other people. This is not good for the Jews also, by the way, because this is create a racist society. And I tell you one positive thing. On contrary of many Jews that are living in the US or whatever, I believe in the future of the Israeli society. It's a very young, dynamic, innovating and forceful society, and you should just let its potential to rise instead of all the time, try to suffocate the potential through the horror of the Holocaust and the fears of the past.
But it's not a problem that in some years there will be more Arab people, non-Jewish people in Israel than Jewish people, and it will become a different country like any other.
This is something.
Jews will be a minority.
This is something I hear for the last 40 years. Yes. I didn't see it happen. It's like I'm hearing for 40 years that one day the world will force Israel to create a two-state solution, I don't see it either. So I think that, you know, I'm not willing to spend my life sitting in Israel and counting heads and say this is Palestinian, this is Jews. This is not the way I want to live my life, and I will not live my life in Israel in order to create a comfortability for the Jews in Mexico that might come to Israel one day. I think that Israel will always be a state for Jews in jeopardy, seriously. Because of the Holocaust and everything that happened, it will always be a state for Jews in jeopardy. But right now, I don't see any lines of Jews coming to Israel. So right now, Israel should live the Israeli circumstances. It means an Israeli society, a state for all the Israelis.
But if you have sometime an Arab-Israel country, and Jewish people are in some problem, like Holocaust, and you have the Arabs, maybe they will say, it's not our problem, we are Israel, we are a Jewish country, and we are the government, because we get to the government by vote, because Israel is a democratic country that has an Arab party, and I don't know, every party can be there. So it can be the situation in some years. Yeah,
look, it's possible. Also, it's possible that most of the young, intelligent Jews will leave Israel to Berlin. This is what's going on now because they can't stand the occupation. So everything is possible, right? And also possible that the nation of the world will boycott Israel like South Africa 25 years ago. This is also possible, right? So I will tell you my future. My future is an open, democratic, equal Israeli society. And this is the only future and the best future one can envision. And I'm telling you right now that the Jewish majority in Israel right now will preserve itself one way or the other. I'm not sure. Even in the situation right now, we can't forcefully remain a majority in Israel. It can happen or not. If you want us to be majority, you can come to Israel and join the Jewish majority in Israel. But if you don't want to come to Israel, which I totally respect, by the way, I'm not Aleph Bet Yehoshua who says that all the Jews who are living in other places doesn't live authentic life. I think that everyone should live exactly where he wants to live. But I'm saying that Israel will progress and will change in the Israeli phase. I think that these fears that you describe are very far away, and we have much more, let's say, immediate fears. For example, the occupation, the end of the occupation, Israel's position in the world right now.
That brings me back to some of your characters. Some of your characters, they did what they have to do to survive. It didn't matter what was the right or the wrong things in their minds. Maybe it was the right thing because it was what they needed to survive. If they have to work with the Nazi party or with the Ruslan party, I don't know, with Stalin, they believed that it was the way to survive. And going against their own families in some of your characters. It may be this what we are thinking, or what do you think about this character? Can we go against our own past just to survive?
I think it's very easy and comforting to say about good people, these people did everything in order to survive. I don't think it's totally true. They did everything in order to advance their life, advance their career, excel, make money, become important, use social mobility. It's not just to survive. I mean, what's interesting in good people, the usual cliches is, oh, the totalitarian apparatus uses people and then throw them away, right? But my character used the bureaucratic apparatus in order to advance themselves. So the bureaucratic apparatus uses Sasha and Thomas, and they uses it back. I mean, for example, Thomas, he's not a Nazi, but he learned to speak the Nazi lingo in order to advance himself. So I think that this deal, this exchange between my characters and the regime, this is the troubling part in good people. It's not that they want to survive. They want to ride the regime in order to excel.
Do you think it's correct to do that, going against other people? Because they didn't know, or maybe they knew, that they were killing people and their own people, and they were in your book, they were still working for the Nazi party. It didn't care for them that they have a Jew against politics, and they have many politics that they were against humanity, and it didn't care. It was just, like you say, we have to live, we have to get money, we have to success, and it doesn't matter. And many times it happens to us.
I think it's happened in the Second World War. It's happened to us today. It happens when you look in what's happened in Syria. It's happened in Rwanda. It's happened in the Second World War. I mean, people will always be people. And I don't believe in good and bad. I call it good people jokingly, right? Because I don't believe in good and bad. I think interesting literature always takes place in the gray area, when you can't define anything as good or bad. Can you say that Sasha was really bad because she wanted to save her brothers, but she betrayed her friends, etc., etc.? I don't think it's interesting to judge her. I think it's interesting to think about the Second World War. Most of the people in the Second World War acted like Sasha and Thomas, right? They were sitting...
We don't remember that. We just remember that they were bad people that wanted to kill everybody that was good people, and they were Jews or another country.
Yeah, but this is stories we tell to kids, but we know that how can you sustain the Nazi apparatus by people that work in hospitals, in the Justice Department, in the Foreign Ministry, in the Economical Ministry, people that work with banks. This is how the Nazi apparatus functions, because of millions of good Nazis, of totally bourgeois, nice people. And you know, what always I think is very logical for me, but people find it hard to accept that in the morning you can be responsible for the destruction of the Jewish community, and in the evening you can be really troubled by the fact that someone hit your young child in high school. This is the elastic momentum in the human soul, and good people try to dive into this psychology and understand it from beneath, from its own eyes, not from distance, but through the eyes of the characters, through their experience.